On this Relationship 911, we're talking about partners who don't say I love you.
I love you.
I know you do.
I'm Monika.
And I'm Jan. And Elijah, what's today's question?
Hannah says, my boyfriend is wonderful, but he rarely says I love you. Is it wrong that I want to hear him say that more often?
Hannah, it's so okay that you want to hear the words I love you. We say I love you to each other 1,000,000 times a day.
Yeah, and when I was growing up, it was so crazy because my parents would say it all the time. And I'd go to my friends whose parents didn't say it very often, and they'd say, don't you feel like when you say it that much that you use it up? And I'm like, use up what? My whole life, to be validated and told that I'm loved helped me have confidence, determination, willingness. I wasn't as defensive. And most of my clients, the biggest thing they're dealing with is self-love. They don't love themselves because somehow throughout their childhood, they weren't told by enough people or maybe enough times that they're loved. So Hannah, absolutely wanting to feel and hear that you're loved is precious, priceless, and important. And this is a very complex question because it's not just my boyfriend's not saying it enough. It's also the context. Is he not saying it and you're not hearing it? Is he not saying it and you are hearing it, but he's not saying it enough? Is he holding it back completely and not saying it at all? There's so much more information we would really need to powerfully answer this question. So we're going to make an attempt to just share some perspective so that you can try one on.
Perfect. So the first thing is everyone has their own relationship to the words I love you. So some people say it all the time and it doesn't lose any value.
I love you, I love you, I love you, yes. I love you, I love you.
I love you too, so much. Do that as much as you want. It'll never lose its value. I love it every single time I hear it. Other people don't say it that often, and they think by them not saying it very often, when they do say it, it really means something. So the first thing is understanding what's your perspective around I love you and what is your boyfriend's perspective around I love you. So that's the first thing. What are you smiling at? Do I have lipstick on now?
You do a little bit.
Okay. Well, it's worth the kiss.
It is.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So the next thing about I love you, so once you've identified like your perspective and his perspective, like Monika said, is it possible that he's saying it, but you're just not hearing it enough? Now, one of the things we talk about a lot are your love languages. So there's the 5 love languages, and my love language is words of affirmation.
So when you say I love you to him, if you don't say it 20 times, he may only hear it once.
Yeah. So if your love language is words of affirmation, maybe that's something that you can share with him. Have you shared with him, you know what, I really love when you say I love you? Is that something you can say more often? And if not, how come? Because I would love to be able to hear that.
A lot of these questions that we get asked come from, I have a wound inside of me, and it's often from childhood. So when we don't get something in childhood, then we long for it out in our relationships. So that might be a place, a source for you to begin to look at. Was there something about your upbringing, about your childhood, where you felt something was missing, that you didn't get appreciated or acknowledged? Maybe you were the younger sibling or the older sibling. Maybe there were expectations placed upon you. This is where the source of your healing can begin, so that you aren't looking for love outside of yourself. If we fill ourselves up with love, usually we don't have a missing, whether someone says it a lot or doesn't. Maybe your boyfriend in his family, they didn't say it a lot. So he just doesn't have the mentorship or the role modeling of saying it. So this is something that you will get to teach him and show him by doing it with him.
And finally, maybe he's saying I love you in different ways than actually verbalizing I love you. Because you said he was wonderful. So maybe, Monika's love language is acts of service. So when I take out the trash, when I change a light bulb, when she comes home and her car has been washed or something like that has been done, then she hears I love you. That's her way of hearing it. So maybe he's doing it in ways differently than you would love to receive it. So I would also look at what are all the different ways that he may be saying I love you without actually saying the words.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
So if you have ways that you are acknowledging someone without saying the words I love you, please share them in the comments below. And if you're one of those people that says I love you all the time, what is it about that for you that helps you say that freely?
So we love you. We love your comments. We love your likes. and we're excited to see you on the next Relationship 911.